And if you go back 14,000 years and you end here, there's never been anybody like you. Yeah.
Like if you're a twin, have you ever had like the exact same things like as your other twin?
Can't hear you.
Like, so if you have like a twin, could you have the exact same everything or no? Like you can't have the same DNA, right?
If you're a twin,
Yeah.
well, there's two types of twins. All right, there's twins that form when mom releases 2 eggs, and each egg is fertilized. Each egg's a little bit different because of meiosis, and each sperm cell is a little bit different, so that those twins aren't identical.
Fraternal.
Those are fraternal twins, right? And then you have twins that are called identical twins, where the zygote just splits in 2, and these twins are identical to each other. Those happen every now and then. Exact same DNA, both right now.
Isn't there like people that have like their twin like attached to them?
Have you Siamese twins?
Yeah.
Even then, they're not always identical. Yep.
Okay, so I was watching this show on the Discovery Channel one time, and it was about like DNA and stuff, and this like one girl, she had different DNA, like her hair was different than like her skin, and it was like, what's that called? It starts with a K.
Mosaic pattern? Is that?
Okay, it doesn't start with a K, but it has.
Yeah, that's we'll get it. We'll touch on that a little bit when we get into genetics. I don't want to get into it now though, but yeah, you see it in fur color for pets sometimes. Also, some people have places in their body that have sweat glands and they don't have sweat glands for the same reason. It's called a mosaic pattern, and it has to do with something called bar bodies. We'll get into that. First, we have to understand genetics. Okay, so anyways, meiosis is the primary cause for that fact. The fact being, again, that there's only probably been one person like Barrington, right? 14,000 years. And 14,000 years from now, there probably won't be another one with the same set of chromosomes. Meiosis. All right? Why is that? Well, there's 2 key events in meiosis that result in that variety. And that's what we're going to get into today. Those, again, are called crossing over and independent absorption. And we talked a little bit about each. We're just going to really get into it more today. All right. Now, genetic variation, kind of like these potato heads. Everybody's, got the basic game plan there, basic body plan, but they're all a little different, kind of like us, right? What is so great about genetic variation? Well, think about it. Here is a bacteria cell right here. Okay? Let's say this bacteria cell causes a really nasty disease, a disease so nasty that it kills you. Right? Let's say that Carrie has that bacteria. She somehow gets infected. Go ahead, get infected, Carrie. Okay? She gets that. Okay, get back to me, please. Go pull up your girl. If we were all the same, well, this is what happened, right? Carrie's got it. Oops, sorry. She gets sick. All right? Then go ahead and give it to Fleming. Fleming doesn't get sick. All right? The reason is they have different genes. All right, Fleming, give that back to me. Fleming might have a resistance to this bacteria, right? Because she's got some slightly different genes in her. So it's good to have variety. Now, if we were all the same, if we were all clones of each other, and this bacteria had the ability to kill, none of us would survive, would it? Would we? So, variety, generally speaking, is a good thing for a population to have, because chances are, when something happens in the environment, a new bacteria, a rise in temperature, whatever it happens, chances are there will be some individuals who will survive and reproduce, and the population persists. Rather than, an army of clones being wiped out by a single bacteria cell. All right, you follow me there? So, generally speaking, it's good for a population to have a little bit of variety in it. Otherwise, you run the risk of being wiped out by a single bacteria cell, whatever the case may be. Here's another example up on the screen. There's a population of beetles. Noah, what can you tell me about that population of beetles?
There's 3 of them.
Hmm?
No.
Can you tell me anything about that population of beetles?
There's no green ones.
What?
There's no green ones.
And what's the other type of beetle?
Orange.
Orange. Yeah, there's variation in the population. As far as the color of the beetle, there's 2 different colors here. All right? Now, Ms. Straight, if you had the choice, which color beetle would you want to be?
Green,
Hmm?
orange,
Why?
they aren't getting ate.
They're not getting eaten. Exactly. All right? Being orange seems to be an advantage there, doesn't it? Because for some reason, those birds don't seem to be eating many orange beetles. If you come back in a couple generations, I bet this population is mostly orange, isn't it? Because the orange ones will reproduce and probably pass on the orange color, so on and so forth. Now, consider this. What would happen, you think, if this whole population was all green?
It would die.
They'd be all gone.
Probably get wiped out, wouldn't it? All right? So, you understand a little bit, hopefully, about, that's called natural selection, that's bio-B stuff. You understand, hopefully, that variation tends to be a good thing in the population. If all we reproduced was via mitosis, and we all look the same, it'd be really easy to wipe out a population, wouldn't it? Just all of them.
What should we write down?
Write down for what?
This slide, like genetic variety.
What should you write down?
Yeah, because it says we're going to talk about natural selection later, and then so should we?
Don't want me to tell you what to write down.
No, just like what you think is the most important.
Probably some sort of explanation as to what it is and why
What
it's
genetic
good.
variety is. Thank you.
For example, and why it's good. That's probably what you want to get out of that. Okay, so hopefully you understand what genetic variety means. Hopefully you understand why it's a decent thing for a population to have. Now the main stuff. The main thing is, all right, how does that happen? Well, it happens through meiosis for the most part. Okay? Genetic variety arises through meiosis and then just the random act of fertilization itself, which we won't talk too much about. Human biology we will, but not here. So let's focus on meiosis. What happens during meiosis that creates variety as far as chromosomes go? Please remember what a tetrad is. Real simple process, right, Ms. Straight? It's called synapsis. That's when the homologous chromosomes come together. Only happens in meiosis. These are also known as bivalents. We are now in prophase 1. Don't forget your number. Okay? And we're moving into metaphase 1 real quick also. Anyways, we're in prophase 1. The process of synapsis has occurred. That doesn't happen in mitosis. And one of the things that also happens during this process is known as crossing over. enough time to go back.